Hey, welcome back to the channel, Tea Times for Two, Golf Travel for Couples. I'm Scott, and if you're new to our channel, normally my wife Cheryl and I rate and review golf courses and resorts from around the world for couples who love to travel and play golf like we do. But today I'm continuing a series of golf courses in Scotland that my brother, my son, and I played on a family pilgrimage to the country of our ancestors. And today we're in St.Andrews, the home of golf, and we'll review the old course and answer the question, does the old course live up to the hype? So stay tuned. All right, welcome back. In our Scotland series, the 5 categories that we're going to rate each golf course are, number 1, the layout and playability for all levels of golfers. Number 2, the aesthetics or the wow factor, the beauty of the golf course. Number 3, we're going to rate the course conditions. Number 4, in the Scotland series, we're going to rate each golf course based on its history. Since some of these golf courses date back to golf being played on these sites back to the 16th century, we thought that'd be a neat little addition and a little different from our other series around the world. And finally, the 5th thing we're going to rate each golf course on is the value or bang for the buck that you're going to get from each golf course. Okay, the first category we rate these golf courses is layout and playability. For St. Andrews, the old course, for layout, we're going to give it 5 stars. And for playability by all levels of players, we're going to give it 2 stars. Now, first of all, how can you not give 5 stars to a place where the game of golf has been played for over 600 years? It was once played over 22 holes, and in 1764, 4 holes were combined into to make 2 holes, thus giving golf the standard of 18 holes to play for a standard round of golf. In 1863, old Tom Morris separated the 17th and the first greens, giving the course its current layout of 7 double greens and 4 single greens. And a cool little side note on the double greens is the holes, if you combine the 2 green holes like 4 and 14, they always add up to 18, so you know which ones the double greens are. Like 1 and 2, 17 and 18 have single greens, and then the rest are all combined with these massive double greens. It was originally played in the opposite direction, and they still have tournaments playing it in the clockwise fashion, which is kind of neat. Each year they have host tournaments playing it in the original way that it was meant to be played in clockwise. So how can you not rate a golf course 5 stars for its layout when you can play it in both clockwise and counterclockwise fashion, which is really neat. The layout is dotted with 112 bunkers. And if you want to score on St. Andrews on the old course, you've got to keep it out of those bunkers, because literally it's basically a 1-stroke penalty if you hit into those fairway bunkers, because you're just going to basically get it out and then you're going to have to play another shot into the green. So the difficulty in this golf course is the bunkering, the wind and the bunkering. The old course has hosted 30 Open Championships. The course has 18 holes and plays to a par of 72, and it has 3 sets of tees ranging from about 6,000 yards all the way back to about 6,700 yards from the back. And there's not a lot of difference on each hole between the 3 sets of tees, which adds to the difficulty of playability, I guess, for a higher handicap player. It's not a long course, and it has wide double fairways. Basically, if you just keep it left all day, you're okay. Just avoid the right. The old course can play really, really difficult for a high handicap player. The wind, which is constantly blowing there, and we had a beautiful day the day we played the old course, but the wind changes throughout the day depending on the tides, the tide coming in and the tide going out. So you can literally play one hole dead into a wind, and then the very next hole just 50 feet away, you're playing it down. It just depends on what the tide's doing. And then the 112 bunkers, which basically, like I said before, are a stroke penalty if you get in them because you're just trying to get out, and some of which are just massive in size. And then the greens, they're not fast. In fact, they're really slow compared to what you're used to playing at the States, but they are enormous. In fact, one of which, and we'll talk about it when we do the holes, was over 100 yards in length. So 3 putts are definitely highly likely. The big swales on the greens and just the enormous size of them. You can hit a green and think, hey, I hit a green, but then you're still 50 yards away, literally 50 yards away. So that's what makes it a little harder to play. An old adage on the old course is just keep your tee shots left. You can hit it as far left as you want because there'll be another fairway over there. You just can't hit it right because that's where OB, or if you're playing the front nine, the new course, or even part of the Jubilee course, you're going to hit over there. You want to take advantage of the short par 4 loopholes, especially when you get around 9, 10, 12. You can really score in that part, although the holes are more exposed to the wind because you're out there on the estuary. But if the wind was light, like it was the day we played it, that's where you want to make your hay. Category 2, the aesthetics or the wow factor. We're going to give St. Andrews Old Course 5 stars. Now, I realize links golf is kind of a beauty in the eye of the beholder kind of thing, especially to Americans who are used to tree-lined parkland courses. But I've played many of the top courses in the world and several 5-star resort courses, and there is nothing that compares with the walk with history and the views of the old gray tomb village of St. Andrews. Now, if the history was removed, would I still feel the same way? Well, that's a pretty good question. I think Royal Aberdeen, Turnberry Elsa Course, Cruden Bay, even Royal Dornoch probably had prettier layouts. Some of my favorites in the United States, Pacific Dunes and Bandon Dunes, I mean, you can't beat those for aesthetics. But that history is something else. I've never been so excited on a first tee or for 18 holes, literally just adrenaline pumping just everywhere, knowing that you're walking where all the legends of the game have walked and played. It's a really humbling experience when you consider the history of it. So for aesthetics, 5 stars. Holes 1 and 18, those are great examples of this. Neither is what you would consider a great hole, and both are pretty easy pars. And both are pretty easy pars, no matter what the wind's doing. But that backdrop and of the town right there, and the realization on the first tee that you're about to play where all the greats have played, and then the walk up 18 with the town right there on the right, and that iconic clubhouse in the distance. And then you've got townspeople standing along the fence line there, sitting on the benches, just watching people play golf. Well, it's really, really cool. And it makes these 2 simple holes really special. Another reason why I love this course so much, other than the history behind it, I am a history teacher, so I do love that part of it, is you could play this course 1,000 times, and you could play it differently virtually every time that you play it, due to the weather or the time of day or the time of year even, or just the tides or the winds. I mean, each hole has so many options. I mean, you can play each hole so many different ways, and that's what I love about links golf. You're not limited to like some of the courses here in the States, the target golf, where you have to hit it here and then you have to hit it to point B and then you have to hit it to point C and you have to hit it a certain way. The old course, you can play any club in your bag any way you want, and that putter is going to get used way more than just on greens. So it's a course that you can play over and over again. Some of my favorite holes, I mean, literally we could do all 18 and they're all memorable and they all have history behind them. But some of my favorite, number 1, called Burn. It's really a short par 4 and it's probably the widest fairway in golf. If you miss this fairway, something's wrong. But I've never been, like I said before, more humbled or more excited on a tee shot than I was this one. In fact, like I told you in our introductory series to this, how to plan a trip for Scotland, that it was always my dad's dream to play this golf course and some of the greats in Scotland. So on that first tee box, I took one of his company logo balls that I had kept all these years, and we hit that as our ceremonial first tee shot. So that was really cool. And then we left the ball, put the ball in the Swillican Burn. So he's always got something there on the first hole. The first hole has OB on the right and the left, but literally it's 150 yards wide. Just aim at the Swillican Burn Bridge that you're walking across after you tee off on 18, and you can't miss the fairway. And then you've just got a short iron. Well, you may have longer than that depending on the wind. All you have to do is hit it to the middle of the green to avoid the burn. Just make sure you take enough club if it's into the wind that you can hit that middle of the green. I think I had a 15-foot birdie putt on the first hole.
Good putt.
Then hole 5, Holacross, the name of the hole, is the only par 5 on the front. And you want to lay up short of the spectacle bunkers because on your second shot, you don't want to get in those. It's a massive mound, and it's going to leave you a blind shot into the green. And long hitters can carry it, especially if it's downwind. But if you hit into those, again, you're looking at a big number. So lay up and short of the spectacle bunkers. And this one probably has the longest green in the world. It's literally over 100 yards deep from front to back. So even though if you laid up in front of those spectacle bunkers and you're looking at 100, 110 yards in, you've got a green that runs 100 yards. You could have a 100-yard putt if you go for that sucker in 2 and hit it all the way to the back. Number 7, High, the name of the hole, is a short par 4 dog leg to the right, and you're getting out near the estuary here, so the wind can be more radical right here. You're going to feel that wind a lot more out here. They tell you, the caddies will tell you to aim at the flag on 11, the green it shares, and avoid the shell bunker on the right, which I didn't do, as you can see behind us here, which is a massive bunker. And the green has a big slope in it that you can actually play the ball off of to get it closer to the hole. Terrific hole. Number 8, Short. It's a medium length par 3 that, depending on what the wind's doing, can play really, really short. Just a little flip wedge, or it can play really, really long. And again, you have to watch the tide. You can see the tide going in or out, and that's going to tell you the wind direction. It has a really steep face bunker that protects the front, and the green slopes away from you. So if it's downwind, it's really, really hard to hold that green. Even though you're hitting a little flip wedge or short iron into it, it's really, really hard to hold if it's downwind, and you're really out there exposed by the estuary. Hole number 9, called End, is a drivable par 4, but you have to avoid the Bosa's bunker and the end hole bunkers in the right center of the fairway to get there. The pitch can be difficult if you lay up, depending on the wind. So a putt from the fairway is probably your best option there. So if you avoid those bunkers and you're just off the green there a bit, putter is always a great option. Then you go to hole number 10, Bobby Jones. It's another short par 4 that you can drive if it's downwind. But there's a huge swale left of the green and on the green, which makes holding that green very difficult. And if you haven't played in Scotland, especially on this coast, the east coast of Scotland, the grass is really springy and pitches really bounce like you're on a little mini tramp. So pitching to this green is not necessarily an easy thing. You get down there short of the green, you think, oh, I've got an easy up and down for a birdie here. So just know that pitch is not as easy as it looks. And hole 11, High, is a medium length par 3 that's really exposed. The green's really exposed out there on the estuary, and it's tough no matter what the wind is doing. The green's protected by hill and strath bunkers, and the green slopes pretty severely from back to front. And it's really wide green because you're sharing it with number 7 over there. Hole 12, Heathery. It's another drivable par 4, but there's bunkers in the middle of the fairway that you can't see from the tee box, and you have to either carry them or you have to play it around them, one or the other. And then you got gorse bushes to the left of the green that you come into play, and I about put them in it. I drove it down there, and I was just short left, right over by the gorse bushes. The green is very severe. It has 2 tiers to it, and it's really, really hard to hold pitches on this green. It's out there exposed like that. Hole 14 is called Long. It's the only par 5 on the back 9. And this one the caddies will tell you, aim your tee shot for the area called the Elysian Fields. It's big, wide off the tee over there on the left. And on your second shot, you want to avoid the hell bunker because it's this massive bunker up on top of a mound that blocks your view of the green. So if you lay up short of it, then you got a blind shot into that green. In the Open Championship, if you watch, you'll see players play down number 4 fairway, so they have a better angle into the green, and it's not a blind shot. Hole 16, corner of the dike. Looks like a nothing hole, but it's a medium length par 4, but you've got to drive your bunker between the principal nose bunkers on the left, and then you've got the LB fence right, which Jack Nicklaus called the right side of this hold for amateurs only. So you want to hit it left of those principal's bunkers, principal noses bunker on the left, and take the OB out of play. And this green can be really hard to hold. I think if you see here on the picture behind me, I used a hybrid from about 30 yards off the green. In fact, in Scotland, that 4 hybrid I've got in my hands there is a club I probably use the most. Because pitches that got in the air would bounce so much that you just use that to putt. And it was a lot easier to get it going. I didn't have to swing it near as hard as you would have had to a putter from off the green. So practice that shot before you go. And then, of course, number 17, the road hole, which might just be the coolest tee shot in championship golf. As you can see the picture here, you tee off over the sheds of the Old Course Hotel. They'll tell you which letter, the caddy will tell you which letter to aim at over the top of that. It's a long, really long par 4 to a really narrow green that sets across from the fairway.
Wow.
And it's protected by the really deep road hole bunker on the left. In fact, the fairway and everything kind of slopes toward that road hole bunker, and it's kind of a collection area there for it. It's very, very difficult second shot because it's usually played with a long iron or even a fairway wood, and you've got the road literally just 2 steps off of the green behind you. And if it gets on that road, it's going to get up next to that rock wall there where you saw Jose Maria Jimenez play it backwards off of that wall in the Open Championship one year. Make 4 on that hole. That's a great day right there. And then 18, I mean, it looks like a nothing hole, literally 100 some odd yard wide fairway, but you've got the town right there. Our hotel, the Russex Hotel, was right there on the right. You've got people that literally all day long, they'll be standing out there along the fence line or sitting on the benches behind the 18 green. And it's a real short par 4. It's got, like I said, a massive fairway. You should have less than 100 yards in. Literally, I think I was 50 something yards, 60 yards in, I think. But depending on where that pin is, you got that deep valley of sin, that false front up front that you have to carry it over. And if they put that pin just behind, like they do at Sunday in the Open, you run the risk of spinning the ball back down that hill. And then you've got a really hard third shot. So just play to the middle of the green. When you do, that green really slopes hard from the village over on the right, from Tom Morris's house on the right, to the left, and from back to front. So if you make 4 on this one, even though it looks like just the simplest hole out there, 4 is a good number. I think I had a 15-foot birdie putt, just missed it, and tapped in for an easy 4 and got even a little smattering of applause from the townspeople, which was a really cool way to finish the morning round on the Old Course. Category 3 we rate the golf courses on is course conditions. And for St. Andrews Old Course, we're going to give it 5 stars. Now, this is going to surprise a lot of you, especially Americans. The greens and tee boxes and fairways were in excellent shape when we played it. And this was the first week of April. Remember, that's shoulder season for them. And we were all pleasantly surprised due to the fact how many rounds every year that the Old Course gets. But it was in terrific shape. In fact, all 3 of them we played at St. Andrews there. St. Andrews Links courses were in terrific shape. And I don't think we played a single course in the whole trip that was not in tip-top shape, which is truly amazing. Now, it's going to be different than what you play here in the United States. Those of you used to Parkland golf and fields of green carpet, and well, it's not that way. It's that fescue grass. So it's going to have greens and browns, but the turf was spectacular. And if you haven't played in Scotland, and you've played even at Bandon Dunes, it wasn't as springy as this fescue turf was. It was real bouncy, and the ball would really spring on it and jump forward like you're like on a mini tramp. The first couple of rounds, it took some getting used to because pitches and approach shots would really bounce and roll out more than what they would here in the States. It was really fun, but you just had to get used to it. You had to land the ball short and let it roll up. And you couldn't just hit a pitch and check and spin it like you do here in the States. You had to play that bounce. Now, having said that, of course, you're walking on all these golf courses. You have to have medical permission to get what they call buggies over there. So you're walking, but it's no big deal. Literally, from this green, you could shake hands with somebody on the next tee box. They're that close together. So the walks aren't like here in the States where you might have a quarter mile between the green and the next tee box. So, but course conditions for us, definitely 5 stars. Category 4 for our Scotland series is the history of the golf course. And you can't get more history than what you have at the old course. So it's 5 stars for history. Golf has been played, or some form of the game of golf has been played on these same grounds for over 600 years, which is pretty much mic drop, right? It's hosted, like I said before, over 30 Open Championships. Old Tom Morris, young Tom Morris, champions list of the Open Championship played on St. Andrews started with James Braid, and then Bobby Jones, Sam Snead, Peter Thompson, Bobby Locke, Shotgun Tony Lima, Jack Nicklaus, Seve Ballesteros, Nick Faldo, Tiger Woods twice, not to mention Mary Queen of Scots played the old course. How do you beat that history? Then you've got iconic places on the course like the Swillican Burn, Granny Clark's Win, the little path, the road that runs across 1st and 18, the Students Bunker, and there's a really good story that goes with that one. The Spectacles Bunkers, the Seven Sisters, the Elysian Fields, the Shell Bunker, which I found, the Coffin Bunkers, the Hell Bunker, Miss Granger's Bosoms. I want to know the story behind that one. The Beardies, the Principal's Nose Bunker, the Road Hole Bunker, and then the Valley of Sin. What other course has that are world-renowned spots like that? And you say, oh, yeah, I know where that is. Anybody that knows their golf, when you talk about Hell Bunker, they know that, so you're talking 14 at the old course. So for history, you can't top the old course. The 5th category is value or bang for your buck. We're going to give the old course of St. Andrews 2 stars. April, when we went, which is shoulder season, cost us around $290 US dollars, which was, again, shoulder season. High season, it can run 340 pounds, which is going to be somewhere around $400, somewhere in that neighborhood. So, again, you're going to go in the summertime, you're going to pay a good amount to play it, which will keep some people from playing it. But it is the home of golf, and it is the old course. So that's the only thing keeping the value down. But for us, when we went, I paid a lot more than that to play courses that are not the old course. You go to Dominican, you're going to pay that. And some courses you're going to pay that and have to pay caddy on top of that. Here in Frisco, Texas, where I live, we have the headquarters of the PGA. You're going to pay that to play the West course, which doesn't host the championships. And you're going to pay more than that to play the East and have to pay caddy. And I would not compare, as much as I like the PGA, I'm not going to compare that to the old course. So depends how you want to rate value, but for the cost, 2 stars. Okay, so let's recap and give an overall score to the old course at St. Andrews. For me, I'm going to give the old course 5 stars. I know links courses or links golf, and especially the old course, is an acquired taste. A lot of Americans won't like links golf because of the vagaries of the bounce or the rolls or what seem like unlucky breaks. But that's just the rub of the green to a good Scotsman. And having our heritage from Scotland, I absolutely love the way links golf is played. I think that's the way golf was meant to be played. That's why I love Bandon Dunes here in the States so much, because it reminds me so much of that. It's a truly special place for me. So to answer the question we posed at the beginning of the video, does the old course live up to its hype? Well, for me, my brother, and my son, I think all 3 of us would say a resounding yes. We absolutely loved our day there. We're so excited, had a big time. My brother got a caddy to get the whole experience. So it was really, really a lot of fun. It's my favorite course that I've played worldwide. Literally the old course, Pacific Dunes, and Bandon Dunes. I could play all 3 of those every day and never get tired of any of them. TPC Sawgrass, another one I could literally play every day and not get tired of, but this one is my all-time favorite. The history of the place, the scenery, the atmosphere of the town right there. Plus we played Carnoustie on the same day, which made my favorite day on the golf course all time. And to spend it with my brother and my son, it was really a special day. But I do think the abundance of the bunkers, which are just literally everywhere, the depth of those bunkers, the huge, severely sloped greens, plus the ever-present wind make this really a tough golf course for a high handicap player. Now, if you've played the old course, let us know in your thoughts in the comments below. Let us know what your favorite holes were, what you liked, what you didn't like. We love hearing from our viewers, and people around the world love to hear what you have to say about these places as well. And as always, remember, if you like this video, please hit like and subscribe below so we can keep providing content like this for couples who are looking for great places for travel. And be sure to check back next week for our newest installment of the Scotland series. We'll rate the new course at St. Andrews. And check out any of our other series on our channel, from Myrtle Beach to Bandon Dunes to Cabo San Lucas to Phoenix Scottsdale, islands all over the Caribbean, and even Las Vegas, and others from around the golfing world. We hope someday we see you on the first tee, so keep hitting them straight.